All right, family. I think we live. How's everybody doing? I'm out and about today. That's why I have my camera off, and I hope you guys are okay with it. I hope everything is good with you guys. Let me see if you guys can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gonna just allow me to just walk around with guns. Ah, delusion, delusion. I mean, 88. You funny. You are so funny. Wanted to talk about you guys read the title, right? Wanted to talk a little bit about Cointelpro and how it has affected the Black community. Okay, let's talk about that real quick here. I'm not going to be on here long because I have some plans. I got my granddaughters. I dropped them off at skating, so they're skating while I'm doing my live. So I don't want to be on here too long. I tell you, the weekends are getting harder and harder. But I want to introduce to you guys a program that we're going to do, and we're going to do a program that is going to be like we're going to start talking about Black families, and I'm really going to hone in on the Black family and how can we get us back on track, okay? Because that's so important because we're so far off track and we don't want to stay this far off track because for our children's sake, we have to get it together. We have to want to get it together. We have to be okay with getting it together. We have to pretty much be really serious about our next moves. Everybody else plans their future except us. And I need to understand what is going on where we're not planning for our children's future, and why aren't we understanding their tactics? Why are we not just understanding the tactics, but why are we not? Hey, forecast, welcome, welcome, welcome. How come we're not just not understanding their tactics, but we are not um, learning them. We're not learning the art of war. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We have to get to the point where we are doing this thing on purpose, and I don't think we're there yet. And I don't understand why not. Because we've been dealing with them long enough to know that there's nothing new under the sun, and they don't have any new nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing new for them. They don't have anything new. It's all the same old, and they keep getting us with the same old thing. Just like last 4 years when they told us to vote, and if we weren't black, Biden told some of us that we didn't vote for him. We weren't black, and what did black folk do? We went out and voted for Biden, the biggest crook, the biggest liar, the biggest, the one that has done the most harm to our communities. We voted him in to prove a point. I don't understand that, but that's another thing for another day. And I want to really us talking about how we have allowed them to infiltrate, and maybe we need to just talk about the COINTELPRO first. I put the link out there, but y'all hold on for a minute. Let me just do the introductions, and then we'll be ready. But I do want to introduce. Is it up there? I don't know. I don't know how they got through that thing away. Oh lordy, hold on. I think it is. Yeah. So I want us to. Yes, I am. I am gonna take us. I'm gonna take you guys with me, but like I said, I'm up and about here trying to um, escape with my granddaughters. But I'm in the area. It is. Thank you. Ketchup is that mine? Okay. You got, no, this is mine. Can you put some ketchup in there? Yep. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Appreciate it. Yeah. So what I want us to do is think about how we have allowed them to lead us by the nose and down a path, a very dark path. And there is, we can come out of it, but it's going to be up to us if we want to. Okay. So it's really going to be up to you. I may not read a whole lot of the comments because you guys know I cannot read comments and talk. I get off focus. So if I don't read a lot of you guys' comments, I see them. I'm just not going to read a lot of them because I need to stay focused. I'm not one of them that can do two things at one time. Y'all understand that, right? Okay. Well, so let me say I'm gonna ask. Here's what I was going to do. Oh yes, I do. I really do believe that. And who don't believe that? Who don't believe that delusion? I absolutely believe it. He's gonna deal with them. Let me share my screen. Getting ready to share my screen. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Now I don't want to be doing this by myself, but I do want to introduce to you a new program that I'm gonna bring to um, my page. I want us to really deal with that black family issue because we have to get back on track. We have to get back in our places. And men, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna need you guys to do what you guys need to do to get back on your thrones. Okay, you've given up your thrones for way too long, and by you giving up your thrones, it's made a mess in our community. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to get on your throne. And when I say don't ask, and I've noticed is black men, we are blaming one another for what's going on in our community, but we're not gonna blame us. We're gonna put the blame where it belongs. And they've gotten us here. We didn't get here by ourselves, right? We're not going to talk about the black on black nothing. We're going to talk about why are we still allowing them to do what they're doing to our families and not counteracting it. We just go along with the program. They bring LGBT out, we go along with it. If they tell you not to name your children Beverly and you name them Sam, when they tell you, hey, it's not a boy or a girl, we go along with it. No, we're supposed to be leading them and them not leading us. And I'm afraid that we've allowed them to lead us. And enough is enough. We have to start standing up. And when our men get in order, the whole family will line up. The reason the family is out of order and the women are out of order because the women have taken the men's place, and our children have just disrespected the whole culture. Because, as you know, when a man is in the house is run different. When a man is in the house stands. When a man is in the house, it has order. And just like your head, when your head is attached to your body, then your body when your head is attached to your body, everything runs smooth. When your head is in your hand, what's going to happen in that body? It's going to die, right? Okay, that's what's happening to the black community. We're dying because our men are out of place. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm saying everybody's out of place, and we have to get back in place. And it's going to take everybody getting back in their zone. When you get back in your place, then our women will get back in their places, and our children will line up. It's almost like when the head is out of control, then the whole body doesn't work, right? And for men to sit up here and tell me, hey, the women won't let us get in our places, that's not what the word said. The word of God says that, man, you are the head of the woman, right? So by you telling me that the woman won't let you get back in your place, you're putting that woman ahead of you. That's out of order. And this is why our families are out of order. As soon as we get to the place where we are put back in our places, we'll see a better result. We'll see a good result. And we'll see to where our families are lining up and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, so let's look at how Cointelpro works first, so we can understand how this thing hold. How does it look when Cointelpro is in operation, and that maybe will kind of help us to understand how it's infiltrated our community. Okay, let's look at that. Let's see if I can present. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this without my face being up here, but I'm gonna try. Y'all help me out here. I'm trying. And I want to go into go into here. I think is where I'm going. I think let's share. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. I think I have to show my okay. I don't have to show my face. Let's see if you guys can see me. Can you guys see me? Hold on, let me make sure. Because you know I can't see when I'm on the other screen. Hold on, let me see. So, trying to see if this is the screen that I want. Go into your pro. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. I'm trying to see if you're gonna be able to hear me. Because I'm gonna be able to do this screen here. I don't know if I have to show my face or not. Guys, do I have to show my face? I hope I don't have to show my face. Okay. Well, I hope you guys can see this. Well, let's talk a little bit about the COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO was a counterintelligence program ran by the FBI FBI of investigation, which is the FBI, for nearly roughly from 1956 to like 20 years. But they tell you that it's gone, but it's really not. You guys already know the Cointelpro. I may have to put my face up here. I don't know. I'm hoping I won't have to. Can you guys see? I can see it. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. I was thinking I had to show my face. Okay, okay. Thank you, forecast. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, so it was nearly for 20 years, but don't let me tell y'all something. Don't we know that they have laws in the books that they call themselves taken off the books, but they still go by those laws. They're trying to gaslight us and make us feel that everything is forgotten. We're good. You know, we're moving past slavery. We're no longer Jim Crow and all of this stuff. But we already know that a lot of times when you have when they have laws in the book and they take them off, that they still continue to go by those laws, right? Okay, this is what I want you guys to understand. They may say that it was taken off in 1976, but it wasn't. Okay, it's still 2026, and I'm going to read COINTELPRO, and this is what happened to NFAC. Okay, I do believe that NFAC was COINTELPRO. Okay, I believe that he was impacted. He had some FBI people on his team and didn't know it. No matter how he was trying to do it, the way he was doing it, but it still ended up being an issue. He still ended up going to jail for 7 years. This is what COINTELPRO is. But let's go ahead and read COINTELPRO. Let's read it. Okay. In combination, the effect of the Bureau and local police force to track, harass, discredit, infiltrate, destroy. Did you hear what I said? Okay, local police forces to track, harass, discredit, infiltrate, destroy, and what destabilize, um, what is that? Dissidents groups in the United States. COINTELPRO targets the Communist Party, the Socialist Party, the American Indian Movement, those considered part of the new left, the KKK. Have you ever seen where COINTELPRO has impacted the KKK? The KKK, if you tell me that they've been infiltrated, then the FBI has done a horrible job of it because they're still in existence. Every black group that the FBI have infiltrated is gone. Am I correct? So how is it that you telling me that the KKK is in this list? How is that possible? Okay, that's impossible. Okay, and the most accurate black civil rights and the militant black nationalist groups. Okay, now the black nationalist groups are gone. The KKK is still there. So tell me what's wrong with this picture. See what I'm telling you? They'll put stuff in writing, but they do something totally different. That's just what the U.S. does. Okay, J. Edward Hoover, which they said his mom was black. I don't know if I believe that. Excuse me. I don't know if I believe that or not. Because he hated black folk. And it could be that he was mixed and he just had an issue because he was mixed. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being silly. Okay, so he was the director of the FBI, considered militant black nationalist groups to be the most dangerous threat facing the United States at that time due to their perceived potential to cause civil unrest and violence. Now, the FBI told us that the most violent is the white male, right? That's what I read. I don't know if I'm right or not. That's what I have read. Now, if that's true, then why did I just read something totally different? Why did I read that he's calling militant black nationalist groups to be the most dangerous threat? Who have we killed? Who have we ever killed? Have we ever shot the president? Have we ever shot one of their civil rights or KKK members? Have we ever lynched one of their KKK members? Have we ever murdered anybody besides ourselves that don't look like us? No. If we have, let me know. Only people I know that we bother each other because we've been taught that, right? Okay. Let's continue reading here. Let's continue reading. So, the potential to cause civil unrest and the violence, okay, and violence. I haven't seen our militia groups act on anything like the KKK. I haven't seen any of this potential to cause civil unrest. I've never seen that. Well, I've seen that doing George Floyd, but that was because they was not doing their job right. And I hope and pray we see a little bit of this civil unrest again coming months for the murder of Neely, Mr. Neely, Jordan Neely. I hope we see a little bit more of the unrest, civil unrest, because I heard something. I heard Forecast say something. He did a show which was amazing last night. I missed it. Forecast. I missed it. But you had something on there where the Africans said, since African Americans can't kill or lynch anybody in America, every time they kill somebody, a black person in America, that they was going to lynch them in Africa. I wish that Africa would do that again. I wish they could get back to that, because I heard on your live, that's what the guy said, right? So all of this stuff, all this civil unrest that we saw 2 years ago with George Floyd, I wish that would come back, but this time we stick with it until after everything is done, until after they put the laws in place, until after they give us our land, until after reparations, until after things are done, and then we separate from them. I think we need to tear up their shit and then separate, period. I'm just saying, because we tear up ours, and we don't even tear up ours, we tear up Indian businesses, we tear up people, other folks' businesses that have businesses when we don't even have businesses. But we go and tear up the Walgreens, we go and tear up the CVS, and we go tear up the Family Dollar. We don't own those. We don't own none of that in our community, because I heard the Chinese woman told us that the Chinese, America told them to come to America and get in our neighborhoods and leave the white folk neighborhoods alone, because they didn't want them to impact the white folks' money, but they put them in our neighborhood, wouldn't give us business loan, gave them loans, wouldn't give it to us, so they knew that we were going to go to their businesses. So they, in fact, made them rich. Really? Okay. Let's keep on reading. Let's keep on reading. Okay. So the FBI Cointelpro focused on the Black Panther Party, Malcolm X, and the Nation of Islam. Now, I ain't mess with the Nation of Islam. I haven't seen them mess with the nation. Have you guys seen them mess with the nation? So does that mean that the nation has compromised and they're no longer a threat? Do you guys believe that? I believe that they've not messed with the Nation of Islam, because the Nation of Islam is not a threat. They're not dangerous. They're not going to do anything. The Nation of Islam has been around since forever, and I've not seen them do anything really for black people, just their own. They, helped. I don't know, what have they done? I haven't seen them do anything. Am I wrong? Have they done anything for black people? And I've not seen them impact or mess with the Nation of Islam since forever, back in the day, right? Okay. And other COINTEL also sought to undermine, intimidate, and slander uh, avowedly non-violent black leaders such as Martin Luther King. Okay, so even though Malcolm talked violence, he talked about defending himself. Malcolm talked about defending himself. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about being nonviolent. But how come they both died? If Martin Luther King wasn't here to kill anybody, wasn't here to hurt anybody, why is he dead? Why was he harmed? Why was he made a threat? Why did they feel that he was a threat? I'm trying to understand that. Okay, y'all help me out here. Let me see. Let's keep talking. Okay. The COINTEL, the counterintelligence method used by the FBI program included sending undercover agents into the Black Panthers Party. Listen to this, where they incited criminal acts and fomented much of the violence in the public came to negatively associated with the Panthers. Other methods included planning informants, and they do that all the time. Don't they still do that? They still do that? Okay. They still plan informants, right? Videos played for surveillance, wiretapping, as well as phone calls, campaigns, and false letters writing to sow intra-groups discord, right? Did you hear that? Let me read that again. Other methods include planning informants. That's what they did, and I believe they did that in NFAC, right? Video surveillances, wiretapping, as well as phone calls, campaigns, and false letter writings to sow intra-group discord. Now, isn't that what you're seeing in the black community? Don't we see Don't we see intragroup discord? Don't we see that? You think they have not infiltrated the black culture? Please help me understand. What y'all think? Exactly, forecast. I'm reading what you said. Same thing he said. Stay away from guns and hold hands, and they still took him out. So did it matter that he was nonviolent? It didn't seem to matter that Martin Luther King was nonviolent. Didn't seem to matter to me because they still killed him. And they say violence don't do nothing. Violence did everything for them. Because a lot of times, back in the 1920s, 1919, you would see where they was rioting cities and burning down towns and got away with it too, didn't they? They sure did. So let's continue talking about this. Let's see here. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So, what else we got here? Indeed, Cointelpro is suspected to have contributed to the divide that formed between Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam. So was they really working? Didn't we see that divide with Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam that resulted in his assassination in 1965? Didn't a black guy go to Malcolm X? I think that was the man's who was the leader of back in the day. I think it was his son that told. Am I correct? His son told Malcolm about the daddy having all them girls and all them women and them babies outside of the nation. Didn't his son tell Malcolm that? I'm just saying. I'm trying to see. I remember some Cointelpro that happened back in the day with the nation when it came to Malcolm. Okay, but still, we're not recognizing that. We're not understanding that. We're still acting like we're blind and don't understand what's going on and the tactics they're using. And they're still using those same tactics. But what do? We continue coming against each other. Why? Okay. We're going to have to start understanding. This is why I'm reading this Cointelpro. Because I want you guys to start recognizing it when we see it. Violence. Exactly. Violence. Their violence has black people scared to this day. You're right, okay? They do. So let's finish talking about the Cointelpro. Okay. It is estimated that the Cointelpro and the police officers working as part of the program killed 28 Black Panther Party members and imprisoned another 750 in their effort to destroy the group. Did you hear that? Who was working with them? Police officers, right? Mm. So you think they weren't working with that group of truckload of men that beheaded that brother in Louisiana? Was that Louisiana? The man that just got beheaded? You think the police wasn't working when he went to the police? He told them, "Hey, a truckload of white men is after me." Did they rush out there to help him? What happened? They told him, "Hey, we can't help you. You can't stay here. Bye, nigga. Bye. Run for us, run." Right? Why do you think that happened? Because the police officers has been in this stuff since the beginning. I remember back in the day where those three Mississippi boys, remember they was arrested and the police let them out late at night and they were allowed to leave after dark. And then guess who chased them down? The police. They pulled over for the police. They was obeying the police, pulled over, and those guys came and took them into the woods. And the police was in on it, right? Okay, so these are the same police that we're looking at today. You think they're not in on this stuff today? Okay, working as a part of the program, right? Okay, come on, you guys. Let's stop giving them so much order. We can stop this Cointelpro. We can stop this police brutality at any time we get ready. And let me tell you how. The next time we see a Candace Owens, we need to take her. And I don't condone violence. Let me just tell you, I don't condone violence. I condone you doing the right thing. And the right thing is sticking with your own. And if you have some secret or if you want to say something, you keep your mouth shut and live your life, okay, and be happy. But anytime you see a coup in Africa, which we're seeing two of them, we're seeing one in Sudan and we're seeing one in Haiti, I guarantee you white folk is behind that coup. They've hired a black person, which they can pay the Africans to do anything they want them to do because they're really super poor, and they'll take probably $10 or they'll take $100 to rise up against their country to overthrow their government, and white folk know that. America know that, the West know that, and they do it all the time. They will use those black men over there to uprise their country, kill half their people, kill half their people, and do what? And pay them. But I'm gonna tell you what, how they should handle that. If you are black in Africa or America, and you are used by white supremacy to destroy your own neighborhoods, destroy your own country, then not only you should die, but your whole family should be dead. Your whole family should be taken care of. I'm just saying this because this is how I really feel. Until we as black people get rid and handle or separate from these coons and separate from these people that we know mean us no good, that we know that will turn you in and you get you killed. We need to separate from them for real. And then when they come on our property and when they come in our groups, then we need to handle our business with them, plain and simple. Let me tell Candace, let me tell you something. You stay up there with your family, with your little white man, your little white mother-in-law, and when your mother-in-law treats you like crap, don't come over here crying to us. Go in here and cry to your sister-in-law, who's a part of the same family. You go on over there, don't come over here. You know the Indians don't allow their children to mix and mingle. The Indians tell them you come off the plantation or their area, you can't come back up in that group once you have infiltrated. Once you've left that group, Indian what you call the Indian plantation? What do you call that? With Indians, Leah, Bobby, welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for joining. When you on the Indian I don't even know what the reservation. Yes, Lord, I said plantation when the Indians reservation. They don't once you leave their reservation, you can't come back. If you mix and mingle with the white folk, the Indians don't let you come back. They be like, you stay over there, because they know you've been brainwashed. They know you've been colonized. So they be like, stay over there. So we can't trust you. But we'll know we can't trust some of these black folks. But we'll still allow them to come into our circles, which is mental illness on our part, right? Let's finish reading, y'all. Let's see. I'm not gonna be here long. I'm gonna try to do 30 more minutes, and then we're gonna have a few more comments, and then we're gonna go. It is estimated that the Cointelpro and the police officers. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, working together as a part of the program killed 28 Black Panthers. Listen to this. They murdered 28 of the Black Panthers and imprisoned another 750 in their efforts to destroy the group. What did the group do? The group was putting in breakfast for families, right? They was putting in the breakfast. They was stopping, controlling police brutality. That's the only time black folk would rise up back in the day was when the police brutality, when the police was murdering them, when the police was doing what they had no business doing in their neighborhood. The deacons of defense, they rose when the Klan was acting the fool, right? Every time white folk would act the fool, they used the deacon of defense, they used the Black Panthers to get things under control, right? So you think that it's gonna be put under control without us doing something? You are sadly freaking mistaken. I'm just saying, you are sadly mistaken if you really think that everything is gonna go into place and they're gonna have a heart and they're gonna stop killing you guys. Y'all crazy. If you really believe that, I got some land in Canada I want to sell y'all. I'm just saying, okay? It is time for us to stand up and fight against this stuff globally. If we do it globally, we got this, but we can't do it if it's not globally. Okay, COINTELPRO also exploited tensions within the Black Panther Party. Well, this is a thing that we have to really understand. How did they infiltrate? By talking amongst each other, because you had those plants and plants was in there, and what the plants was doing was saying, oh, he said this, she said this, and oh, I saw them with this person. Or you have to understand, when people come to you with meth, look at that person suspect. Because why are you bringing me mess? Why are you coming to me? And I'm very suspect when I meet a person and they start coming to me and talking about another person. I don't say nothing. I just look at them. And sometimes I'll be like, I don't even care. And I'm like, shooing them away. Or when I see them coming, or when I see them call, I don't even answer. Or when I see them coming, I turn the other way, where I'm really nonchalant, so they'll go away by themselves, really. Because don't bring me nothing, because I know if you come in bringing me something, you're going to take something right back to them that I didn't say, and you're going to start some mess. That's what them white folks do. Them folk, period, got a nerve doing that. They got nerves doing that mess. Okay, let's see. COINTELPRO also exploited tensions within the Black Panther Party, leading to the killing of what? Sam Napier, who ran the Black Panther Party newspaper in Oakland, California. COINTELPRO and the Chicago, Illinois Police Department were also behind the assassination of Mark Clark and Freddie Hampton, who were sleeping in the Black Panthers headquarters on December 4th, 1969. While two shots were fired from within the apartment, police fired hundreds of rounds into that apartment, killing them both. Now, I was told that no bullets was they didn't fire the first shot. They didn't fire no shots because that's something that they said, but it's come out that no shots were fired. They fired hundreds of rounds into that apartment, killing both of them, and they had no reason to do that because they were asleep. Remember, they had drugged Fred Hampton, right? So I was told, and I had read somewhere else that no shots were fired. Okay, complete information on the origins and activists of Cointelpro remain exclusive as participating agents are legally bound to secrecy, and the FBI retains control over most the COINTEL files that do exist. So you can't even really figure out what they're doing because they got all the files under wraps, right? Due to the highly sensitive nature of COINTELPRO's, due to their plans and they have all their plans and how they did it, who they did it to, under wraps. See how they protect themselves. See how they cover themselves. Just like when that boy was decapitated and they said, "Oh, wasn't no foul play." So I guess he decapitated himself, right? Boy, you're not gonna tell me they're not all on code. And we believe that mess when they find one of us on the tree and they say, "Oh, we found them on the tree." How the hell you find somebody on the tree? How they get up there if they ain't got no ladder, they ain't got no chair? What they do? Get down, move the chair, and hop back on the tree? I don't know where you talking about. Oh, it's no foul play. They'll say that in a minute. Ain't no chair, just like Damien. Who was that man? The boy in Kansas, whose mama found him in the backyard, and they said, "Oh, he did it himself." The boy had his hands clenched. He had bruises on his face. He was, I mean, so you gonna tell me that I'm gonna fight myself? I'm gonna beat myself up first before I hang myself? Come on, y'all. Are we that dumb? And we'll sit up there and say, "Oh, suicide among black people is rising." Get out of here with that. Don't y'all understand and see what's happening? Do we see what's really going on? Do we see that this is they're all on code? Just like the coroner, they tell the coroner, the sheriff or whatever, to say, "Oh, we don't see no foul play," but the boy was decapitated. How come you didn't see no foul play? Well, he did that to himself. It's just crazy, and nobody calls them out about that. Why don't we call them out when they say stuff like that? Okay, okay. And they said also, actions made detail of the programs were intentional, never put into writing, so that they could never later be exposed. Did I just say that? Boy, these devils! I tell you, I know these crackers. Oh, I know these devils. Oh, I'm so sick of their ass. I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm so sick of them, y'all. I don't know what to do. I hate to look at them. Sometimes I'll be looking at them frowned up, and I'll be with my grandbaby. My grandbaby like, "Grandma, who you looking at? Why you looking at that lady like that?" Because I just can't stand the sight of them. I'm serious. Now listen to this. Due to the highly sensitive nature of COINTELPRO actions, many details of the program were intentionally never put into writing so that they could never later be exposed. Oh Lord, I tell you, these devils gonna burn in. Ooh, I hope it's a hell for real for them. I hope they get their special spot. He need to just create one just for them devils. Bobby, greetings. Oh, wait a minute. What am I missing forecast? Hold on, what am I missing? Oh, okay, who's Raw? Who's Raw? You can't see Raw in the chat. Who is Raw? I don't see no Raw on here. Am I supposed to see a Raw? How you see Raw? Forecast? What's Raw at? Okay, well, welcome, Raw. All right, I'm gonna continue on. I'm just messing with y'all. You know I can't read the chat and okay, I can't read the chat and talk because I get off focus. Okay, I'm finished reading. Okay, some COINTEL files come to light in March of '71 after leftist group called the Citizens Committee to investigate, the FBI broke into a small Pennsylvania FBI office, seized documents, and disseminated them to news outlets. Okay, wow. In 1975, the U.S. Select Committee to Study Governmental Operations with Respect to Intelligence Activities, also known as the Church Committee, helped bring other COINTELPRO activities to light. But because the committee only required the FBI to provide heavily redacted documents, its impact in exposing the truth was limited. Ain't that something? Boy, them dogs gonna cover. Boy, they gonna cover themselves, ain't they? Ain't they something, ain't they? What y'all think so far, you guys? Now, if y'all want to call in, feel free. Y'all can call on in. Let's discuss some things. Boy, I tell you, these devils, these devils, these devils. Oh my God, I can't stand it. I can't stand them. I'm serious. Look at that devil right there, y'all. I'm just look at this devil right here. Look at that devil. I want y'all to call in. Let's have some conversation today. Let's have a conversation. Look at that devil right there. Domestic spying, blackmail, and murder inside the FBI COINTEL. Do you hear that? So that's legal. It's legal for black folk, huh? It's legal for them to do to us, huh? Look at that. Domestic spying, blackmail, murder inside the FBI COINTEL. Boy, them devils gonna get it. How the Cold War era FBI took down countless U.S. citizens deemed to be enemies of the state and got away with it. Ain't that something? Look at this. Wow. So we're considered enemies of the state if we call them out on their BS, call them out on their racism, call them out how they killing, murdering our babies. They'll call us enemies of the state because what they want us to do just sit down, shut up, and don't say nothing. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. So if we are enemies of the state, we're enemies of the state because we calling them out on their bull crap, right? Okay. And they got away with it. Look at this. And they said they got away with it. So they got away with murdering. That's why they do it today and think they're supposed to get away with it. But I'm gonna tell you what, their time is coming. You ain't gonna tell me it's not. Counterintelligence is a term for any anti-espionage and surveillance activities aimed at spying on or breaking up domestic threats. In 1956, fresh off the McCarthy persecution of the early 1950s, the FBI perceived exactly this kind of threat from the Socialist Workers' Party and the Communist Party of the United States. Boy, I tell you, who these crackers? I just don't even know what to say, y'all. Ooh, I'm so sick of them. That's all I can say right now. I'm sick of them. I am so sick of them. I'm just coming over here to see what we got. Okay, forecast. Here we come. All right, forecast. What you got for me?
Hey, what's up, Cassandra? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on?
Not
Can you
much.
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, like even they like these programs. You guys like how the KKK and all of that stuff. Well, they said the most dangerous threat is really black unity. You know what I'm saying? But they called it the Black Messiah. That's why they was on Malcolm X and all of that stuff. But unfortunately, I think that a lot of black people saw how they did, and I don't think I think that that fear got into us when they see it. Now we talking about they gonna do this to us, they gonna do that if we stand up for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like we are the ones that's supposed to be standing up for ourselves and making it happen. You know what I'm saying? So and then yeah, like with that whole program, and then like yeah, I usually say that if an organization is still around like after a certain amount of time, then you know that it
Mm-hmm.
must be something wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So like
They're safe.
even yeah,
Yep.
and somebody say something about the NOI, I will back you up on that point because they had an army, they had a whole army that could have did damage, and then they did not want to use it or upset white people and all of that stuff or really protect the community. You know what I'm saying? Because even with their own, they let their own get smoked and they really didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like if you
Mm-hmm.
had that army, you have the ability to make a change, and a lot of people is scared. That's why it's harder today to build that army than it's ever been. But a lot of these even now, like what they do is listen and try to study our techniques. And I think that even when we argue with amongst each other,
Mhm.
it's like you said, they like that thing you put in the article about a lot of these disagreements and arguments that we have with each other is coming from somebody else, in my opinion. So
Right. You're not gonna tell me that's not coming from Cointelpro. Because some of this stuff starts, and I'd be like, where did it start? Nobody knows where this man and woman and black women hating black men, and nobody knows where that started from. But we jump on the bandwagon, no matter how dysfunctional it is. We jump on the freaking bandwagon and we go with it. It don't even make no sense sometimes. We just mad. I was on a live today, right? And the guy was talking about black women, why we don't want to be led. We say we want to be led, but we don't want men to lead us. Something stupid, right? And I was like, when are we gonna stop doing this? Why is it that we blame game all the time? Stop doing that. You want to tell blame women for you not being on your throne, but what happened for you to get off the throne in the first place? Did we push you off the throne, or did you leave that throne? I'm sorry, I'm in a restaurant. I'm sitting up here trying to wait for my granddaughter. Y'all, this is a little loud. I'm gonna go to my car. But it's just so silly because we sat up there and they blame us, and we allow them to blame us for them not being in place. And then they blame us for the children acting crazy when you're not there to raise them. So what the hell you supposed to happen? And then you have the nerves to blame a woman while the child is acting up. How is that possible? How are you blaming a woman for that? When are we gonna blame you? When are you gonna blame yourself for the way your child has come up without you in the house? Don't you think men had something to do with that child and the way his behavior is because you're not in the house? Do you believe that it's all about the woman? Oh, I see Raw now. Oh, welcome, Raw. Welcome. I see her comments now. Okay, I don't know. It's just if they just showed up for me. I don't know what's going on with this computer. But yeah. So how is it that we can blame the women, but we don't? Them, the men don't feel none of that heat. I ain't hear, they weren't holding men accountable. They just kept saying, "Oh, the women, the children, the women, the children." I'm like, look, dude, if you know that you a man and you got children and you finna leave, take that take that child with you, take that son with you, teach and train him how to be a man. That woman cannot teach that boy how to be a man, and you'll see a difference in your household. I do believe that, but why not? Why not we just pick better mates so that we don't have to divide and we don't have to separate and we can stay together and make this thing happen and improve us, improve our environment, improve our families. But we see what they're doing. We see where they separated us and they still separating us. And I do believe that it's COINTELPRO. You're not gonna tell me that COINTELPRO had nothing to do with the black family separate. You're not gonna tell me that and what's going on now. You're not gonna tell me it's not COINTELPRO. Go ahead, forecast.
I agree with you. And like you remember the other day, I was talking about like that forgiveness stuff, and that's another way that you know that that stuff is fake because we never talk about forgiving each other, and that's like with men and women and together, you know what I'm saying, and forgiving each other. We don't have that energy, but with everybody else, they could kill you, slaughter you, and all of this stuff, and you would be like, oh well, maybe it's good white people, and you know what I'm saying. Some of them we could save some of them, and all of this stuff. But then the minute that is our own is never, you know what I'm saying, good enough. And then I think there's a lot of stuff that happened between us. Like I'm gonna be real, you know what I'm saying. Like I can understand, right, if like say I was married and somebody break in my house and I just sit there and don't do nothing, let them rape my wife and take all our stuff and rape my children and I don't do anything, she's probably gonna feel some type of way and resentment is going to build, especially like over the years, you know what I'm saying? But I think that is accountability on both sides because like, like there has been like you said, like there's been a divide put into our community, and now we feeding in on it even more so. And I think, like again, those people could be, paid people to do those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? From organizations like COINTELPRO and stuff like this. But like yeah, you just have black men and black women arguing about things that I don't even think maybe we had arguments before. I'm not saying that, but the arguments we have now is not the arguments that we are used to. You know what I'm saying? It's not our arguments. We have other people arguments. And yeah, of course, like we know the things that they did to literally separate our families, One thing was like the
Mm-hmm.
Mortarhan report, you know what I'm saying? They came out in the 50s, and this was the liberals and all of that. And they was talking about divided homes and stuff. Um, yeah, they was talking about divided homes and stuff like that. But they how did they know that stuff before it actually happened? Because we had the home, like we already know the story, but they already put it out there about that and how they used the projects, and then hindsight is 2020 and stuff like that. So we can go back and look at how it was. But like we still like, like it's hard, it's easy to say that, but when you got a crying baby and stuff like that, you want to feed your kid, but like we know that that is anything from them is meant to divide us and hurt us. They saw in the 60s black men and black women together fighting, and children, they were sticking dogs on us at the time, you know what I'm saying? But black men and women and children was together still doing that same thing regardless of all the stuff, even though we did have our issues. But I don't know, like, cause I disagree when people use terms like patriarchy and all of that stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll pass the mic though.
Totally agree. I'm going to be muting myself because it's a little loud in here. But I totally agree with what you're saying. But we have, as a whole, have to begin to talk about these conversations. And let's not forget, I think we have gotten to the place where we have forgotten. You can't forget. You can't get to the place where we are forgetting the past and forgetting, because if you forget the history, you bound to repeat it. You know what I'm saying? And I think we as black folk have forgotten. We don't remember the Jim Crow. We don't remember because it's not like we're being taught this in high school, because we don't talk about this in high school. So this is being forgotten history. And guess what? And they're doing it on purpose because they know we can put things in place, and our children don't even understand about Jim Crow. Because how many parents actually really do talk about Jim Crow even today in their homes? They don't. Every now and again we'll mention it, but we really don't talk about it how our grandmas used to talk about it, and how we used to witness when white folk do different things, and we still witness it today. And then you have black folks saying, "Oh, I don't know what is going on in 2023," and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it never changed. Where were you? But I forget that they're young. We see it because we're I'm a 60s baby, okay? So we see it. We understand what happened. But a lot of these young folk that's born in 90, what, 1991, don't remember. 1999, they really don't remember because they're not being taught. This is not something, a subject that you're being taught in schools. It's almost like they want you to forget your history so it can repeat itself. But I'm tell you what, no, because I'm gonna lie, history repeating itself when I'm here. Because I'm gonna make it loud and clear, and I'm gonna say it loud and clear, and I'm gonna make sure everybody hear that this is what they used to do. This is just rewrap. Just like I tell people about gentrification. Gentrification is segregation. It's just rewrap, and they call it something different, totally different. It means the same thing. It don't change. So this is crazy. So what's your thoughts, Bro?
Yeah, I agree with you. We don't talk about it. Like I know me, like I had to learn the hard way. That's why I'm still learning things today. You know what I'm saying? We definitely allowed our children to be educated by somebody else, and then we wonder why we have these situations. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wish that black men especially would stop, what I'm saying, being scared. Let's be real, what I'm saying, and saying, oh, we better not do this, we better not do that, because they're going to do this and do that to us. Well, I can tell you right now, it's nothing that they have not done to you, but the only time that you was the most protected is when black men made sure that the community were protected. In the schools, there was black men who was teachers, black women who was teachers. You know what I'm saying? Because you need both black men and black women. That's why we lose the confused with the masculinity, femininity qualities, and all of that stuff, even to this day. And that's an example though that how you that shows you you could change during a generation, how from one generation it went from something to another generation after like the feminists kind of took over the school, how that they produce a certain group of young boys. And then it's important, and your enemy knows it's important to go after the schools, but I don't even think that we know who our enemies is at this point. You know what I'm saying? So like even with that divide, like a lot of young boys is like I don't want to say feminine, you know what I'm saying, but like that submissive stuff is a feminine trait, and you're not supposed to be submissive, and you're supposed to want every opportunity in every way, or take every single way to defend your family. And as much as we have black men saying, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, oh Lord, they're going to do this to us, that is indicative of how your children going to turn out, because now you ain't protecting them. And that's your job as a man, you know, as men and women, as parents, is our job to make sure the next generation is in the right position. And if we don't even have the information, but let alone not even the right energy, you don't even have to have the energy or the information to know when something is wrong and you need to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? But if we don't even have that energy, the younger generation is not seeing that, you know. And like I said, I think that like every home is important to have a black man and a black woman in a structure or whatever. I see my brother Bakari just came on, so I'll wrap it up. But yeah, it's important to, like, that's why I think it's important to have a strong family structure, and you know that you could be with that person at least for 18 years to raise that person in the right way. Because young girls see how their fathers and mothers react, and young boys do the same, and then they go out and treat others the same way. So, but yeah, what up, Bakari?
What's going on? How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I heard Cassandra talking about, because I was in and out, talking about Cointelpro and what it has done to the black family. And she was talking about this arguing over how black men and black women all of us start hating one another. Yep, I believe there's some type of Cointelpro, but it's also, especially when you look at social media, where people see where they can make money doing this, they become pro unwittingly. they are working for these people and really don't even know that they're actually working for these people, if that makes sense, right? So they're getting a YouTube check, social media check, however that works, and they're putting out a message that's really harmful for the black community. And that's why I always say our youth is listening. Because in all honesty, if we don't build the black family back the way it once was, our community and our people, we would never start seeing each other the way we once saw each other. The love and respect and admiration that we have for one another, to protect and provide for one another. The reason it's gone, because the men is gone. See, all of this back and forth arguing, this gender war, black men can stop it. So let me give you an example of what I mean when I say Cointelpro and these people really don't know. Cassandra, have you ever heard of this white guy named Nick Fuentes? He's like a Donald Trump.
Yes, I have. I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
What's up? What's going on?
one of these Manafort guys named, I don't even want to say his name, I don't respect him, but for this I got to say his name. Named Obsidian, had Nick Fuentes came on his panel the other day. Can you believe this black guy asked Nick Fuentes to talk to him about the black female effery, as he called it? How can you reach out to somebody who is a known, who believe in white supremacy and who feel he's above black people, and in the process sat there and said that he believed that he's proud of his race and he don't believe people should be together, so on and so forth, which I agreed with some of the things that he said about that. But how can a black man ask a white person like that, can you explain to me about the black female effery? You see what I'm talking about?
What's wrong with him? Yes.
I have no idea.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yes, and he didn't see anything wrong with it. He really didn't. So even when it comes to Grandmaster Jay, when Forecast was talking about the NOI's military the people they had with them, right? It was something in there that was Cointelpro that kept them from fighting everybody except black people. You see what I'm saying? Something in there, somebody was keeping them from protecting our black people. Let's keep a division going amongst us, amongst ourselves. So if that division is amongst us, and I don't care about you if you don't think exactly like me, it's going to be hard to create the black family, because the black family have to be together for us to have a black neighborhood. And for us, in order for us to turn the black neighborhood into a black community, everything is going to have to start with the black man and the black woman, and the black man playing his role. Because I'm a firm believer in, if the man play his role, black men start playing our role, our women will play their role, and there won't be no need for no gender banging. You know, of course, all the black women ain't gonna come, just like all the black men ain't. But we have enough to start our neighborhood, to turn to a community, to start the things that we need. Long when they see the black men stepped up and ready to provide and protect, respect, our black women will be there like they have always been, from slavery to now, how they've always been. They'll come back to us if we do what we're supposed to do. On that, I yield the mic.
But you said something about that we won't get them all, or we won't get some or most or whatever. But I don't expect to get all of them, because all of them ain't worthy of being uh, owning a black card. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect any of them to, a whole lot of black folk, because this way is very narrow. Okay, and you have to be brave. You have to have courage. Remember the Wizard of Oz? Everybody got a little bit. We got one got brains, one got courage, and one got. Okay, it's gonna take us right now having courage to do what needs to be done globally. And I'm not talking about a couple here and there. I mean globally. The ones that want to stand, we stand. The ones that don't, but we gonna put some attention on this black family. We gonna put some attention about holding us accountable. Because I'm tired of one versus the other all the time. We don't ever get tired of blaming each other. Even when NFAC, the dude, he was actually trying to help black folk. If you really listen to him, he was on Instagram, and he was talking, reading that civilization book, the red, talking about the how the black civilization or whatever. He was reading that book, actually talking about that book, and how the divide came in, how the black civilization was defeated and divided, right? But if you didn't spend time and listen to him talk, because I listened, because I was trying to see if he was an agent. I wanted to see, because you can notice if people are not. He was talking about conclusions. He was talking about something what's the guy, Jason Black, ain't never came up with no conclusion, and that's the one that y'all should be worried about, because he's been safe all this time. If he really was a threat to white folk, he would have been done. They would have took his show off a long time ago. But he never comes up with a conclusion, does he? But we still keep faithfully. That dude has over 1 million followers, and is growing every day, because black folk, they don't want a conclusion. They just want to be entertained. It's not about entertaining. And I find out a lot of shows that's not entertaining black folk, that's really trying to fix and put light on accountability and holding each other accountable. You don't see but two or three on they little shows, they little broadcasts. And that's a shame, because it's time for us to get out of that entertainment mode. But if we're not entertaining y'all, black folk just don't care. They don't want to fix the problem, because it's gonna take work. It's gonna take you cutting off some folk, and you ain't ready to quit that white access. Those snow bunnies and those snowkins. We're not ready to call them out, because we don't want to hurt white folks' feelings. Don't give a dang on. I seen a Mexican guy trying to tell black folk, black people. Did you see that on forecast, you guys? The Mexican guy was trying to tell black folk, was here. This is for the African American, black Americans. Dude, you can't tell me nothing. You get over there and fix your community. Sitting up there with y'all identity crisis going on. You sitting up here thinking these crackers loving you. One of them called herself white. Girl, you just don't know. They don't like you either. Okay, they just using you to come against us, and you dumb enough to fall for it. But I'm so sick of this. But that's not even my concern. My concern is when black folk will listen to people like that, who want to tell you about yourself. How in the hell are you gonna tell me Just like I can't tell them about being a Mexican. They can't tell me nothing about being black. So what are you talking about? Come in here talking about, let me tell you something about black. You can't tell me nothing. And everybody should have deleted his behind. But you have so many black folk on there and dealing with mental illness, and man, you telling it, they was agreeing with this crap. I'm like, what is wrong with us that we have to sit up here and agree with this nonsense? And that's exactly what it was, nonsense. We agreeing with somebody that's gonna come on here and act like they better than you. They ain't got, well, we they want to know how we Mexicans get our cups and our trucks and our cars, and that ain't got nothing to do with it. Let's talk about let's talk about community. Let's talk about growing. Let's talk about investing. Let's talk about something besides owning a truck or a car. Let's talk about buying land. Can you talk to us about that, Mr. Mexican man? No, you can't. Have a seat, a whole seat. But we got to get to the place where we are calling these people out instead of agreeing with them. That's all we did. We agree. You had thousands of people agree with this Mexican dude trying to tell you about how it is to be black and what we need to do. What? What you need to do? Because you see, as I notice here, I see more and more crime with them. Remember, okay, I just seen a man who decapitated his wife. He didn't look like us. I'm just saying, he didn't look like us. But them white folks opening up the borders, bringing them in, right? They gonna bite them in the booty hole. Watch and see what it tell you. They gonna tear them up. Go ahead, forecast.
Yeah, they think they the gringos or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and they that's why they give up their stuff. But yeah, do got to worry about getting the cartel together first, you know what I'm saying, before anything. But it's something you said because and you're right, you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Right, it takes courage to do this, you know what I'm saying. That's why I got respect for like you, like everybody who's like doing it and they dead serious, you know. But I actually think it takes more courage not to do nothing because, like, yo, we're decimated every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kill us all the
Mhm.
time. They like got water, the prices of everything. How you not mad about the price of living right now? Like, and then the wages is not like we not mad about them taking the resources and all of that stuff. So, like, I think it
Mm-mm.
takes more courage to sit there and go for the entertainment. And so, but I feel what you're saying though. I think that we need to start looking at it that way because like we want comfort instead of this, you know. And then with the other people that you was talking about, like they aren't going to try it. They're not going to talk about certain things. They're going to be like the no name people scared to mention any other group on their channel. You know what I'm saying? But as black people, I think that like see, I'm not going they don't have any other choice with me. I'm trying to do it the right way, you know what I'm saying, where you build some stuff, you know what I'm saying, instead of destruction of stuff, you know what I'm saying. So I'm trying to do it the right way, but they ain't got no other choice. But still, like I said, like yo, one of the more we can get on here. Teaching history is a dangerous thing for them, especially it's the right kind of history that like we will shoot back kind of history, you know what I'm saying? Once we learn that and realize that our ancestors was no punks and we better get like them and our DNA flows through our bones, you know what I'm saying? We will be more on it. But even now, like in small circles, we can make like huge changes and stuff like this. And yeah, that's why I was talking about the infiltration stuff. But even in a small circle, like just putting your stuff together, you know what I'm saying, or and using the whatever's around you as a tool or a weapon to develop it, and then changing something like you know, like with what like with you with rum in the bush is changing. We don't need them to go through other things. We have black people learning to be electricians, learning to be all kind of things, you know what I'm saying, and you giving them paid opportunities or fixing the water thing or whatever it may be that we're doing, like even in those small circles, that is a big impact that will I think will eventually grow, you know what I'm saying. So like even with the solutions and most black people, they're not gonna have a choice because either it's gonna go down by them re-enslaving us and then they're gonna have to either do or die, or somebody like one of us, you know what I'm saying, changing it and making it happen, you know what I'm saying. But you know, I pass the mic though.
Bakari, you got something to say?
Now go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So let's talk about how is it that how do we as the community get to the point of not blaming or is that a question that's too big, or how do we get to the place where we are just holding each other accountable? I think that's what it is, without tearing people down. We don't have to tear somebody down, but for instance, for example, um, when a man points the finger and said, "I'm looking at my son, and I'm looking at, the daughter, the single women's children. They want to compare, and they want to pretty much say." And I've heard this. Man, if a man wasn't, I seen a little girl, and she looked like a little grown prostitute. She was maybe a 3-year-old, and her mom had her dressed like, I'm serious. The hair, the mini skirt. I mean, it was just bad, right? And somebody said, a man came on there and said, "Well, if a dad was in the house, that wouldn't have been." And I said, "You're right," but a lot of people was blaming the mom for the way the daughter was dressing. My thing is, it's not just the woman's fault, nor is it just the man's fault. It's both. How do we hold each other accountable instead of pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, the kids are messed up because of the women, and the women are raising them"? I've heard that. Have we not heard that? I've heard that. So, what do we say to that, and how do we begin to tear that down, or how do we begin to put that back where it needs to be, as far as men taking their seats on the throne and kicking some of these women off the throne? Until we get to the place where we are kicking the women off the throne, we've got to get to a place where we are holding each other accountable and not blaming. So, how do we get to that point, and then where do we start to do that?
I think we'll stop blaming when we look in the mirror and be grown enough to accept accountability for what we have done and our failures. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they was constantly trying to convince me about how it's the woman's fault the way that these young men turning out. I said, but the men ain't there. Yeah, the woman ran them off. I said, dude, that ain't true. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop acting like these men want to act like that the women is doing everything wrong and the man is doing everything right. So and even some of our women, and I mean, when we me and a buddy, like I said, when we were talking, he like, well, what about the woman who's constantly talking about how much money she's making and she got her degree? I say she do that to, this is just my opinion. Not saying it's right, but I think she do it to fill a void that she's missing. And the void and what she's missing is the man, right? So she'll floss that in the man's face. And in my opinion, this is just what I believe. She want the man to be the breadwinner. She want the man to get up and go do something and grind. So when we talk about that, and that, what I was telling him was, it's not our women's fault that our men stop going to school. And I'm not saying our women are perfect. Is there some women that's messed up just like some of our men? Yes. But
Exactly.
this was me talking to a man about men, and he kept making everything just be the woman's fault. The man wants someone to submit. And if we want to be in the lead role, I said, be a leader. Don't admit when we do something wrong. When we gonna admit what we're doing wrong. Because if you don't ever admit it and you always pointing the finger, there's never, you don't think you have anything to fix. So we have to admit what we do wrong so we can accept accountability for us. Then I think we will get better because there will be more of us accepting accountability, more men stepping into the man role. That's my take on it. I yield the mic.
Yeah, yeah. I guess to answer the question, we can invite Jane Elliott to the cookout to make an announcement, and maybe we'll listen at that point. But oh, like Bakari, what you said about men, because I hear that all the time. Like when they be like men that rap right now. Like as a man, you know what I'm saying? Like a woman does not dictate you being a man. You know what I'm saying? A part of being a man is you controlling yourself and your atmosphere and the people that you allow around you. You know what I'm saying? The things that you allow and the things you don't allow. You don't allow no disrespect or nothing like that. And it's also up to each individual to get with the person who has the same like mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I think a part of getting to that is like number one, installing it into our children. That's why I think is a place for like, in black institutions like schools, like from elementary to HBCUs, where we have this thing where like, back then they used to teach women certain crafts, like, what I'm saying, from working crafts to like home care craft. They used to teach men trades, what I'm saying, to be able to be good with their hands, and they built communities by doing that. And then they also had a certain relations, and then also we knew where we stood when it came to that. Today is like illusion of inclusion, where we use like trying to date other people as a threat or something like that, what I'm saying. And we understand that that's not going to work, because even when they be doing that, it shows like they just frustrated, what I'm saying. And the black men is frustrated, and I get the frustration, don't get me wrong, but like it starts with the accountability, being the person that you want to see to change, what I'm saying. So like even my generation, because like my generation was probably the one probably that's the most fatherless, what I'm saying, like from the 80s and like the crack stuff and all of that, what I'm saying. But like today they be like, well, we have the most single mom, but that's just a term, because that just means unmarried. It doesn't mean like a family, a household. Like you can have a loving like mother and father that's just not married, but you're still technically a single mother. But I know a lot of young black brothers from my generation is better fathers and is there for their children. And I would admit, like, like back in my generation, it was like, a rare thing to have both parents. But that's because like the war on the crack epidemic, which was a war move by them. And we don't understand history and military history. And then teaching our children, men, women, the both military history. Cause like men not only fought, but you know what, the women, they was preparing the meals and putting that poison in there and using what I'm saying. But we all knew all things, what I'm saying. It's just we played our roles to the T, and then we got to define it. But right now we have a hard time. First, we got to be like, yo, the black family is two black people, because we got to argue with people about that. You know what I'm saying? You can't build a black community with a white mom or a white dad in the middle of it. So, but I'll pass the mic though.
Wow, you said it right there. That right there is the main point that we need to be discussing. I heard it's a guy who asks, is or can a black person be one if they're married to a white woman? I personally don't think, or a white man. I don't personally think so. Just like Phil Scott, I have an issue with him. He has a Puerto Rican wife, but he tries to talk about black people. You have no room to talk. You don't even like black women. Period. That's what I think. You don't have nothing. You can't talk about a black anything because you're not married to a black woman. So how are you B1? Period. I have an issue with that. I don't think that you can be B1 married to another color type person. Caves, snow people. I don't believe you can, because you going what can you? How are you guys coming together if you believe how I believe? You think I could be with a white man? I'm just saying the way I talk. And do you think a white man will sit up here and listen and how I talk about white folk? No, that's oil and water. Oil and water don't match, don't mix, right? But we have to understand that. Bakari, you said something important. You said that woman was talking about what she made. And you have to understand, black women are very lonely right about now. Yes, we want a great man. We want somebody we can trust. We want somebody to want us back. But I've seen where women that are making like really good money, it's very hard for them to find a black man. And I'm just saying, I'm like, what is going on here? Is it that threatening to where if a woman is making really good money that you can't find a black man? I don't understand that. I'm having an issue with that. But then it's almost like they're black men are intimidated to approach them or something because they thinking, oh, she making da da da. It doesn't matter. They still want companionship. They're still looking for a black man. You have a lot of black women out here that won't even date outside their race. They're looking for a black man to want to have something to bring to the table or be working toward bringing something to the table. Because we know this society we live in is very limited on what our black men can make. I seen a thing where a black woman said I wouldn't date a bus driver. Honey, let me tell you something. Bus drivers make good money. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying for her to say that and for her to think that, what's going on with her? You understand what I'm saying? We white women, and let me just help you to understand, they train and teach their children, these young girls, to go after our boys in high school. They're not even where they need to be yet. They're not even, probably don't even see the potential in them. But the white little girl is programmed to be able to recognize when they see one of our boys that's going to hit the NFL or football. I'm probably, or basketball. I don't know the different codes. I don't know basketball or what they call it, but they are able to recognize that when they know that they're going to go into the pros. They can see it. And what do our girls do? I don't want him. Either or they'll graduate from high school and they'll see a guy that's working, maybe at a filling station, trying to maybe going to school, but he has a job at a filling station. They'll be, I don't want him. He don't make enough money. He dirty all day. And what is going on with that? We have to begin to teach our young girls how to recognize greatness, even if they're not where they need to be. Some of these men need a woman, a good woman on their side to say, "Babe, why don't you try this? Or why don't you try?" I've seen men who have women like that, and them men turn out to be great men because of the teamwork. The teamwork. Maybe she had to carry the load for a little bit until he got out of school, and then he took the load and carry it on. What's wrong with that? I don't see I don't see anything wrong with teamwork. Okay, long as I don't have to do it, and from now until, if my husband lost his job today, you think I would carry him along because he's carried me? I'd be, come on, babe, we got this. Let's do this thing. I would even sell my house to us to be able to get to the right place. But we have to understand that we're a team. But how many women will say, "Girl, he lose his job, I'm gone." What are you talking about? He been there for you since before. Now all of a sudden you're gonna leave and walk out. That's the mentality we have to fix. It's a lot wrong, but I think of starting to teach our young girls to to appreciate each other, just like my granddaughter. I talk to her now, and different students, different people that I meet, that I see with these young girls with children. I begin to help them to understand parenting, to understand children, to understand. Hey, don't let your boys fight each other. Don't let your girls argue and fuss and fight and put their friends before their own sister. That needs to be taught in the home. Because how many times have I seen where smaller kids will give take their toy from their sister and give it to a friend? No, we don't do that. That's where the teaching starts. It starts as babies. It starts when they're young. How do we love each other? It starts with us in the home right now, even with our grandchildren. When we see our grandchildren acting a fool and fighting each other, come here, baby, we don't treat each other like that. Give your cousin a hug. That's where it starts. And this is how we begin to build. Because if we promote that now amongst, and some of you young girls that's going to hear this later, if you start promoting it in your house, because I've seen where these girls will let their kids fight. Oh, they'll fight it out. No, they don't need to fight it out. Sometimes they need a parent to intervene and say, no, we don't treat each other like that. You need to love on each other, because your brother and your sister is going to be maybe possibly the only friend that you can trust, or the only friend that you're gonna, be able to roll to rock with. Okay, that's gonna have your back. That friend that you think is out there in the street is not gonna have your back like your brother and sister will. That's where it starts with us putting the new generation in line, in order for the greatness. We have to start somewhere. We cannot. This cannot continue, because right now, if it continues on like this, I don't know where black folk gonna be. I'm serious. When I hear a woman say, a young woman at that, say, "I don't need a man. Come here, baby. Let me talk to you. I'm grandma. Let me talk to you. Let me help you out here." I don't hear nobody else culture. I don't hear any other culture out here talking about what they don't need. That they don't need their men. You don't need your men. They kill your men. Then what you got? Ain't nobody gonna be there to protect you. You can't protect yourself. A man grab hold of you. That's why I said one shotgun. I want one that I can get them across the street instead of coming up on me. You understand what I'm saying? But if we don't have that love for our men, we'll see them dying and feel nothing and be, I'm glad that. And I've heard a black girl said that it makes her feel great to hear when a police officer has shot a black man. Who says stuff like that? That's crazy. That's just ludicrous talking points. That's white supremacy talking points. And her, I guarantee you, she's dating a white guy, somebody that will lynch her up and will turn her out and will hurt her feelings and will get her pregnant and leave her and walk out and take that baby with him because he can. Because I've heard how many African girls talk about that. These are issues that need to be talked about. When you hear a young woman talking like that, you check them talking points. Or when we see one of our young babies get shot, and you hear a black person, "Oh, she should have been shot because she had a knife in her hand." But you don't hear the white folks saying it about their kids, do we? We have to get to the point where we are really, really um, being careful of what we're saying and checking that behavior. What do you guys think?
Yes, their behavior need to be checked, and I agree that if a guy stopped talking to me, I kicked him off my panel. I called him a punk ass, talking about the young lady from Ohio that you said that, and I ain't know you. She deserved to be killed. She was trying to kill somebody. But these police supposed to be trained, right? So, and they are trained. They are trained to kill black people,
It's
and they are trained to give everyone else a pass, right? And and for us to sit and co-sign it, like I heard some people talking about those black people. Why she was going to Mexico to get a BBL anyway? What difference does it make? Getting a BBL now mean a death sentence? Is that what that means?
exactly.
A black person getting a BBL mean a death sentence? You don't have to agree with what she was doing, but to figure out a way to make it her fault that some people got killed, something is something is wrong. But we always figure out a way to blame us. Always. I've heard people blame Jordan Neely on the train. People blame George Floyd. People blame Trayvon Martin. Black people blame Mike Brown. We always look for a way to let everyone else off the hook, then turn and say, we have to start holding our people accountable. We are the only people that we hold accountable. So we got to get past that. We really do have to get past that. And how do you get to it? I'm gonna be. I'm gonna still. You know me. I'm a firm believer. We got to start pounding the pavement. We got to start pounding the pavement. We got to get out here in these streets. We got to start talking to our people. And we gonna get. I said earlier we wasn't gonna get all of them. We're not, but we are gonna get all of them. All of the ones that want to be with us. The rest of them, don't even worry about it. So I agree.
Yeah.
On that, I yield the mic.
Go ahead, forecast.
Yeah, and definitely Bukhari is right about that. It's about being out there for the people, but also creating things that you have to create. Like even like which like with the you use these programs and stuff, like you'll make an event or get some kind of sponsorship where you could be like, you may have to be like person of color or this or that, but you get in something for black children, even if it's like just a $15 gift card to help feed them, you know what I'm saying? Something that you do for the community on a regular basis. A lot of black people is selfish. A lot of black people is punked out, not really spooked out. You know what I'm saying? Like we act like punks right now. Like that's just the truth about it. And even what you're saying, like the relationship, the not dynamics that we have, like yo, it's tough for everybody right now, and it's on purpose. Like that's the truth. Like yo, it was designed for everybody to have number one issues, but especially with us. You know what I'm saying? Like and even in those, they of course they don't want us reproducing and all of that stuff, and not having control over our younger generations coming up. You know what I'm saying? That is a threat, because if you are able to get the young people to realize who they are, what they can do, and work together and put aside these tribal issues that we have, or like economic issues that we both in the middle of this economic, you know what I'm saying, whatever, what we looking at, even if it's just community, right? Because me and Bukhari a while ago was talking about the Mexicans, and they be living together like 12 people to a house. Now I know black people probably ain't gonna do nothing like that, but something as simple as putting resources together makes it work. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of black people have selfish tendencies where they want to see their thing thrive. And then even with in community, it's hard to have community, and then us not trusting each other, it's hard to have family, you know what I'm saying? Because we not even on the same page, because we don't see each other as a community, just the hood, like not even with the neighbor part, you know what I'm saying? And without the trust, it's difficult to build healthy relationships that we see, you know what I'm saying? And then we so addicted to somebody else's structure that it's hard. We don't even know what is wealth, what is valuable. Like family is probably the most valuable thing that you could do. That's like the root of number one thing of revolution, is having a strong household where the children is prepared from birth, you know what I'm saying? Like to be what they're going to be, and or at least have the right mindset. Even if you let them be pick their own kind of career, but you have to put in that right mindset. But like we just mismatching on different levels, you know what I'm saying? So now we have European issues. We're gonna argue about different things, and we have a different value system, and that's why I think that's why we act backwards, because we put our value system as European stuff, and that's not natural to us. Like all the stuff that they do, like we used to abundance, they used to scarcity, and then we traded them our abundance and took their scarcity, and now we fight each other for the resources, you know what I'm saying, that we don't have, that they have, instead of fighting them. But I'll pass the mic though.
Hey,
That's
can I say
true.
something right quick?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When forecast said we ain't gonna live like that, talking about the Mexicans. One thing I do know, and I know me and Cassandra from the same generation, and forecast, if you ask your parents, but black people used to live like that. We used to look out for each other like that. That was a black people idea, where uncles and everybody live together because we had to pool our money together to make it. Now you think about back in the day when we talk about older neighborhoods, if you study, you'll see those older neighborhoods and families were there. You will see families there because families was living in the same place. That's my take, and that's how I see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk because I just wanted to say that.
Oh man, sharing the flow with you. But we used to, like you said, Bakari, we used to borrow from each other a cup of sugar, Kool-Aid, the cheese, and the peanut butter. We used to have that. But what stopped it? We have to get back to understanding where did we go wrong? Where we went wrong was one, accepting anything from them because everything that they offer us is for our demise. Do we understand that yet? Every program they have for us is for our demise. Vaccinations for our demise. Education for our demise. Housing, they put you in a horrible neighborhood for our demise, but to offer you $25,000 for this house in the hood that's prostitutes on the corner. Are you kidding? Let's straighten up that neighborhood. But this is what they do, but we don't understand that. Everything that they're going to do for us, but they don't put the people that come here, like the Mexicans, they don't tell them to leave their households, their families, their men, do they? Afghanistan, Ukraine came here. They were able to come as a family, weren't they? Did you hear anything about, when they get Section 8, they got to leave their man outside? Where they do that at? Where do we do? See, we have to stand when stupid stuff like that arise. You can keep that up, just like Africa. Finally got to the place where they told America, you know what? You keep your little stuff. We're not doing the LGBT. You can go to hell with that and keep moving. But and then America got me and said, "Oh, we're gonna section you this, then the other." But you said something else that was so powerful. I think it was Bakari or perhaps one of your guys said it, and they said we settle for less all the time. We what did you say? We said it again, forecast. I think that was you. You said we'll take their less, and now we used to be abundance. Africa is abundance, but white folk told them they wouldn't, so they turn around and borrow from everybody, and they got wealth right there in that city. Does that make any kind of sense to you guys? Why didn't they, when America said, okay, this is what we're not going to do, we're not going to allow Africa to do this, that, and the other, why didn't Africa start selling and trading amongst themselves? Do you not know that they could have infiltrated, they could have built their infrastructure in their own country and started like building things, warehouses, doing stuff for self, and they would be just like China. Just like China used to be a third world country. Does anybody remember when China was so poor that it was just pathetic? China looked like them little babies in Africa. They were showing them in China. Does anybody remember when China was a third world country? And now look at China. China is on top of the world now. They didn't get up there by themselves. All Africa has to do is protect and trade amongst themselves. You have 54 continents. You mean to tell me all of y'all poor? Nobody got no money? Come on, something is wrong with this picture. Now we see Africa rising, but you were at the top all the time. But because white folk told you you weren't, you stayed at the bottom and didn't even feed your own people. That's what I'm. But you have to understand, it wasn't just the presidents; it was the people over the presidents that said no. We're going to get the money to you, but you can't give it to your people. What do you mean we can't give it? Why didn't somebody stand up and say, no, we're not going to do it like that? And you come over here with some mess, we're going to come and we're going to start building our infrastructure. We're going to get our wards and we're going to, well, not our wards, but we're going to have an army. Why nobody thought about that? We have to start thinking about outside the box. We will think only what they allow us to think. We'll only do what they allow us to do, and we'll only say what they allow us to say. Just like right now, we talking about this, and you got some black folks that's gonna come on here and be like, "Oh my God, you hear them black folks? They trying to take it back to where way back in the day." Well, you know what? That's way back in the day when we shouldn't have never left. Because when we was way back there, we was doing a whole lot better than we doing now. Look at your children now. Look at them wild animals, and they got like that because of them, and they gonna come in as white horses. Oh, the white savior! You ain't the white savior or nothing. You better save your own, cause your own over there shooting up schools. Remember Timothy LaVey that blew up that federal building back in the day, and they just fried his behind. What, maybe 5 years ago, Bakari? You remember him, Timothy McVeigh, that blew up that federal building?
In Oklahoma City.
Yes, and he blew up that him and his dad. It wasn't him and his dad that blew up the city, the federal building
I
in
thought it was
Oklahoma.
just him.
Yes,
Somebody was with him. I thought he was by himself.
I thought it was him and his dad. I think it was him and his dad that did that. Wasn't it him and his dad? If I'm not mistaken, was it him by himself? I thought it was him and his dad.
Might have been his dad. I thought it was just him. I don't know, but I know
Oh,
who you talking about
they,
though.
yes, but see what I'm saying? So they got enough on their plate. But where we need to stop is allowing them to educate our children. That's where it starts right there. We have to begin to turn this thing around, and we have to do it quickly. We have to do it like yesterday, because this time is of an essence. We have given them our children for 70 years, and look at the results. And you still got the nerve to say, "Oh, pray for my children." No, get them away from them. They act just like they kids. Evil communication corrupt with good manners. So your kids going and acting like they got some sense, and here come little Becky slapping and acting crazy. And what our children do, they come and act the same way, but they get in trouble for doing it. Our children get in trouble for it, but they kids never. They never see them their own selves doing their own kids doing anything. But aren't we tired of that yet? Aren't we tired of our children being blamed? Aren't we tired of the mental illness? Aren't we tired of what we're seeing our children go through? Aren't we tired of our men being out of place? Men, aren't you tired of being out of place? Aren't you tired of them white women yet? But it's just, it's a lot. It's gonna take a lot, but it's not. It's not that we can't do it. We can do it, but it's gonna take us doing it as a group, globally, globally. But we got to first recognize and see, where do we start? What would you guys suggest we start? Education. Where do we start?
Yeah, I personally think I think it's a simultaneous thing though, where we have to I think education is definitely important, but we have to like, because we was talking about the black doctors and stuff. It's like difficult to send them to like school or to learn the proper stuff. Like economics is definitely a very, very important structure, and that was another thing about like what the NOI had a lot of money and people donating to their cause throughout America, even non-Muslims, and they created businesses, but not for black people. But that same kind of thing I think is important, because the youth is gonna be hard for them to listen when you like, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I ain't trying to hear that. Like MG2 said to me one
Yeah.
time, yeah, like MG2 said to me one time, like, man, I might listen to Elijah Muhammad next week, but if I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat a ham sandwich tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the truth. Like, you have to be able like to feed the people. I think education is important, because no matter what we do, no matter what skills, if we develop the skills but we still like, yo, you giving it to America or giving it to Europe or any other thing besides your own, you still contributing. No matter how smart you are, you could create rocket ships or whatever it may be. You landed somebody else on the moon, not yourself, you know. So I think education and black only is the number one start, and that only starts with like I say that I think even the children born today may not have hope because we still not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the children have faith, have hope tomorrow if we start right now. But I don't know if we're going to do that. So, but I think that's the most important part is like the children's mind. And for us to stop loving white girls, I don't know. Like it's been like 6,000 years, and the brother will still go canoeing with a white girl, come up missing, go in the woods with a white girl, come up missing, all that stuff.
They ain't learned yet, boy. I be looking for. I tell you,
I don't know.
anytime a black dude come up missing, they been with Becky. I already know her family that did something. I already know it instantly, instantly. And I'm gonna say one thing, and I know Bakari, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, but just like Ram in the Bush, I keep telling people that right there, if we can get that to go globally, that's one way that we can stop our men from, because I do believe that they're underemployed. Okay, I know a young lady that's been who has a degree in criminal justice and been looking for a job at least a year, at least. Tell me why? Because they're not hiring black people. It used to be where they weren't hiring black men. Now, well, I shouldn't say that. Well, McDonald's will give you a job for $11. I'm just saying. You feel me? But my thing is, this young lady has a degree, and still cannot find a job. And I'm like, what's going on here? They're not even hiring black women now. Okay. So my thing is, let's use Ram in the Bush. Let's say it go viral. Let's create our own tables. Aren't we tired of begging them for our own tables? This is another thing that we need to talk about. How do we create generational wealth among us? By creating our own businesses, by developing our own tables. And guess what? When we develop our own, that's when you'll come to us and say, "Hey, can I sit at your table?" No, you can't sit at our table. You got your own table over there. And then guess what they're gonna be? Oh, you taking it back to 19 whatever. But no, we have to begin to want to be around us. We have to begin to want to change our mindset because I'm tired of what I'm seeing. And I hope and pray that there are a lot more people like me out here in the world that's tired of what we're seeing and ready to build, because I can't do it by myself. But I want Ram in the Bush to go global. You telling us we need midwives? You telling us that black women are dying like flies? Then okay, let's create this around the world, and let's go and deliver our own babies. Let's put our monies together and go create this clinic where black women can come to the clinic and we can give birth to our own babies. Why aren't we doing this? These are things that we could be doing today, right now, things that we know that's going to assist our men to eat. Because you mean tell me you can be in prison and you can be trained to weld, but you can't and you can make 2 cents in prison, but then you can't use that same training out here? What is going on with that picture? That's what I heard. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? You could do it in there, but you can't qualify to do it out here. You got the training, you was able to do it in there. What's the difference? Why can't you use that same training out here in the public, out in the real world? That's what I thought it was called, rehab, right? Rehabilitating, right? Okay, so where's the rehabilitation at? You won't give them a job. You won't give them a place to live, because if they go to the girlfriend house on Section 8, you're gonna put her out. So of course, she's doing some little sneaking, but then the neighbor know that he's sneaking over there, and the neighbor get mad and gonna tell. What is going on here? These are issues that we need to talk about. They're not telling anybody else not to have their men in the house, and they know exactly if our children are not around the men, what kind of impact the family's going to have. I read that story about the elephants, when the elephants, baby elephants, were separated from the men, and how they began to clown and just troublemakers, right? And when they brought the male elephants back into the group, the children began to straighten up. That's the same thing with us. That's what's going on. We don't know that yet. We're still trying to say men go, we can raise our, you can't raise your children by yourself. We need our men around our children. We need our boys to have some type of influence. We look at our boys and say, what's wrong with you? Well, where's the men that needs to be there to actually teach them how to be responsible, teach them how to be husbands, teach them how to be protectors and providers? They don't have a mentor. So how are you supposed to learn this on your own? For when these women say, "Hey, we don't need a man," I'm looking at them like, you're selfish for one, and for two, when these men decide to leave, tell them to take them boys with you, take your son with you, teach and train him how to be the man, a better man. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't do that. We'll Sit there and leave the child there, half visiting, and then you'll point your finger when he start acting the fool. You point your finger at the woman. Look at your son. Look at your son. No, 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 sweetheart. That's our son. Where were you to put the male part? Where were you to put where were you to be his mentor? Where were you to teach him how to pee? Where were you to teach him how to think like a man? I can teach him, but I'm gonna put my female characteristics in him, and that's what we're failing to realize. That when you have a woman that's raising a son, that he's going to have tendencies like his mother. This is why we're seeing so many of our boys looking, acting like women, acting like, the other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Attracted to their own, attracted to being attracted to men. That's where that's coming from. That's coming from the lack of males being in their lives. And some of them will go out there and will marry and be better fathers for Becky's children than they will for their own sons. And they have had a black son by a black woman and a sit up there and treat Becky's son better than they treat their own son. Now that right there is pathetic. I think that's the saddest thing on earth when I see that. Go ahead, I rest my mic.
And you know what? They will go treat Becky's son better than they treat LaQuisha's son, their own son, which is absolutely asinine. But what you're talking about is the black family, and that is something that we got to work hard. That is something we have to work hard to rebuild. And when you're talking about the education in school, I'm gonna tell you something, Cassandra. Me and Forecast was talking about this earlier, and I'm gonna find it and send it to you. But I'm gonna tell you, earlier when we were just talking about how some people don't know they're working, but with this social media thing, they do things for money and they selling you out on social media, right? So the media has a way now with social media to make a lot of things. And like Malcolm X said, the media can make your enemy look like your friend and your friend look like your enemy, right? So when you was talking about integration, I was reading a quote. I heard this quote and I read it, so I got to go look it up to make sure it was true. So I got to find it again and send it. Dr. King was talking about integration, right? And what Dr. King said was he do think integration on the bus and in the school system be okay, right? And he said because basically we paying out. But listen what else he said. The media never played his part about Dr. King. But at the end of that quote, what Dr. King said was, but he don't think white people should have full control over educating our black children. That won't work for us. The media never show us that part. The media, the media would have never told us that Dr. King said he don't think white people should have full control of teaching black children. You have to search for that. And we can see the result of white people having control of educating our people, educating our youth. We can see the result, right? The results are in. And now that the results are in, we have to look inside of ourselves and say, what are we going to do to change it for the next generation? What are we going to do? Some of these young men out here doing things, let's say like King Randall, who has a school. What are we going to do to help King Randall? What can we do to make sure his school thrive? You understand what I'm saying? With everything that he's even teaching military science at his school. He's teaching people how to use. He's teaching our young men how to use guns, teaching farming, agriculture, all of that at his school. So we should be right there with that education. Koku had someone on his channel the other day. They're doing an African-centered education. Q Butter School. So we should be, we know people with schools, we should be donating to these schools. Now, I see it different with the donating to, I think we need a black school district nationwide. And what I mean by that is it's not a whole lot of black schools. So instead of black schools, right? So instead of us just saying we're going to pick this one out and donate to, just imagine if we had a school board, a black school board, right? And we had a pot and we donated, and then let's say it's 25. I'm quite sure it's more than that, but I'm just throwing out a number. And And the people that want to donate to these schools, we come together and we start donating to these schools every month. So now there's pot. Now we don't have to worry about looking for Dr. Umar school whenever it open. This other school. Let's make sure they get this. We have donated in, we can call it paying taxes for our own school, because that's what they do, take taxes out of our money to pay for these schools, right? To pay for their stuff, right? So what we're doing is we can call it taxes. So every month we pay taxes to our own school board, and the money is shared amongst black schools nationwide. Now that being said, our schools gonna have our people that start these schools, the ones that have the that's arrogant and have the ego and think they can do everything themselves. We gonna have to let that go, and we gonna have to learn to work together. That's my take on the school thing. But yes, we have a lot of work to do, and it's time to get on, as I say, our Jehovah Witness stuff. It's time to get on our Jehovah. I saw a Jehovah Witness, and I went to go to get my coffee in the morning. It was before I go to work. It was a Jehovah Witness at the gas station at 5:05, passing out pamphlets talking about Jehovah Witness. They might not get but one or two at that gas station, but there are other gas stations as well. And that's how we have to start seeing it. So what if we talk to 100 black people, and out of that 100, let's say we only get 5? Well, we got 5. So if we got 5 that want to hear, that want to be a part and understand and want to learn, guess what? That's 5 more than we had. And that's how we have to start seeing it. And on that, I hear the mic.
Go ahead, forecast. We're gonna begin to give our final speeches or final words because I got to go pick up my grandbabies in about 15 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and close that one out. But y'all got some last minute words you wanna say?
Yeah, Cassandra. Yo, by the way, I want you. You should look up that sister Bukari was just talking about. What's her name? Bukari Queen Taisi, or what's her name? Bukari.
I think
You
it's
remember?
easy. What I'll do is I'll go back through Koku Bitter Medicine Community tab, and I will screenshot it and I will send it to you, consider that way I know who she is.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
she got a school. She's doing the school thing, and she's been doing it for a while. I think it's like Liberated Minds or something like that. But she's definitely doing like some good things. That's why I was like, I wanted to send that to you so you can like look her up.
you said liberated minds. Okay, it was somebody that's on. I've seen her on your show, forecast. I don't know her name, but somebody she is related to. I don't. Is that bitter? I don't think it's bitter medicine, but I've seen her on your show forecast, and she um has her somebody kin to her has their own school. I wish I could find out. I don't know her name, but I often see her on your live all the time. Um, it's somebody goddess. I think I'm not sure her last name, her name, her screen name, but I think
Yeah.
it's something goddess. You know who I'm talking about?
You talking about Melanated Goddess?
I think so. If that's, I think that's who she is. She's on your show all the time, and I wish. Do you have her information, or maybe next time you do you know her personally, where you can give me her information? Because I'd like
Um,
to investigate to see who's because there is a school. I don't know if it's her aunt or who it is.
nah, I don't know. Like Bukari, I don't have her information or nothing. Bukari, you got her information or anything?
I'll check my email and see if I got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because I didn't know that. Yeah, if she do, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard her mention it on Tanzam live, and so I heard her mention it, but she didn't give the name, and I've never, I haven't seen her in a minute, but I did see her on your show forecast, and I was like, that's the same girl, but she did say somebody, her cousin, aunt, sister, somebody has a school, and she talks about it quite often though.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta look her up on that one. I definitely support that. But yeah, this was a great live though, consider
thank you. We're gonna
and
do
like yo, they watch this stuff, and even though the numbers ain't true, like it'd be way more people in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And listening.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why the
all
last
good. I
time.
don't worry about that. I just do what I'm supposed to do, and the people that see it, and the ones,
Right.
the period. I can't worry about. We ready to grow. Let's grow. I don't look at the numbers. I just do what I do, and the right people come along. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And but the one thing about it is though, some of them people like yo, like yesterday, like my Jones said like 11, but it was really like 40 or 50. some of those people is agents we know, and some of them is agents we don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like
Yep.
they are there and they watching everything that like. You know what I'm saying? They are there watching us, and
Yep. They
also.
watching.
Mhm. So that's why I'm like, yo, that's why I support everything that you saying and you doing, you know, and it still is nothing they can do to stop it. So like I want people to realize that and they work amongst us to keep us divided, but the
Yes.
black messiah is black unity. But black people really need to stop being punks, like stop being scared to death because we gonna be slaves for 200 more years as straight as y'all is right now. So
You ain't lying.
but
Kari,
thank you
last
though. That's
words.
all
Thank
Bakari
you
for real.
guys. Thank you.
Pacific,
Last words. Yeah.
thanks for letting me speak on your panel. It was good to be up here. Uh, Good to be up here with Forecast. Look, you're right. We do need to work on the black family, and I'm glad this is something you thought about. And and for me, I'm getting back to not this week, but it's probably gonna be next week. I got a couple of interviews. I got a couple of businesses that I did today. I'm gonna do another. I'm getting back to my every Sunday thing, mind our black business, because family, business, that's part of our community. Once you get the family, it's the main part. With the business, now my children, or your children, don't have to go look, or y'all grandkids, my grandkids, don't have to look at someone else for their first job. We can say our first job was working with the black owned corners. So there's things that we need, and working on a family, that's very important, and that's the beginning of all of our needs. And on that note, uh, peace and love.
Hey, consider, can I say real quick? I'm gonna try to have the next Black History thing tomorrow night after Bukhari joint, and then like after he finished, I'm gonna try to have the Black History thing too. I think we need to start putting like you have your show on Sunday, like yo, maybe it could be a day where we talk about something positive. Is you know what I'm saying? Because we see too much negative stuff. So
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Let me say hello to Philip Goodman. Thank you for coming, you guys. Philip, thank you for coming. Raw, thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys for coming out. I do. You didn't have to, come, but you guys show up. I appreciate the support. And with that said, family, we're gonna go and just think about some things that we're saying because we're not just up here trying to entertain you. We are trying to change lives, even if it's in our own family. But we have to start somewhere. And I do appreciate everybody that'll see this live later. But you guys stay woke and stay focused and keep your head on the swivel and live another day. Peace, family. Thank you, you guys.
all right, thank you, peace, y'all.